So when you did Amaya's hair, the first hair video we posted, that took you a bit of time.
Yeah.
It took a few hours to do.
Like start to finish?
Start to finish, it took a few hours.
I was so nervous though.
What's up, perfectly blended family, and welcome back to another video. I'm Chantelle.
And I'm Greg.
And guys, in this video, we're going to let you in on how Greg learned to braid hair. But before we get into it, guys, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so when we drop a new video, you're alerted. Alright guys, let's get into it. Alright, so we've been getting a lot of questions in the comments. How does Greg know how to do hair?
Yeah, who taught Greg how to do hair?
Yes.
So we did more hair videos last year. It was sort of my journey learning how to do hair.
Yeah.
So more recently, we've got a lot more new viewers, and they're just sort of catching some of the more recent hair videos, which were me doing your hair. So us telling a story more so.
Yes. Let's take you guys back to where it all started. So starting out in the nursing field, I was doing shift work. And there were times where Greg had to drop Amaya to school. Now, Jasmine was born at the time, but she was a baby. She didn't really have any hair to do. But I always kept Amaya's hair in extensions because she was a gymnast and she was training like ridiculous hours a week. It was super easy to maintain her hair in extensions, so we kind of kept it that way. But that's kind of where it started because I would have friends come up to me when they would see me in the gym say, oh my gosh, Greg is such a sweet guy, so I'm putting Amaya's hair up in a ponytail or trying to braid her hair if it fell out, or he always had an active part with Amaya's hair. And they'd always would just see him. They wouldn't tell him, they would tell me, like, he's such a sweet guy.
Well, because I'd be the one dropping her to school, so it'd be
because I was at work,
yeah. So I'm taking her, and she likes having her hair, but we like to put it up for school. So I'd make sure it's always tucked up ponytail, or packing it into kind of a bun, making it tighter for gymnastics, that kind of thing.
So that's kind of where it started. Then when we became more active on YouTube, then we made it a goal. We're like, well, why don't we vlog your journey? Like start with like
as
one
I was
braid.
Progressing, exactly.
Yeah. So it was all starting with like one little cainrow, and not only learning to cainrow, but learning how to style 4C hair because Amaya had different texture hair.
This is the whole process from washing, conditioning, different treatments or whatever we're using.
Detangling.
Yeah, and I used to have hair. I used to have actually long hair, and I knew how to care for my hair.
Exactly, but Amaya's hair is different. We all have different hair types in this family, but particularly Amaya was the one that we were putting a lot more time and effort into her hair because it just needed a different level of care when, you know, time to do her hair. You started with the one braid, and you guys can see that I was just like the one braid and a couple parts and twist. So you're styling.
Was that the first one?
That was the very first one. So how did you feel doing her hair then, like trying to learn to cainrow? How was it for you? Maybe you can tell them a little bit about that.
You know what? It was slow because you just do it. Do you know how you learned to cainrow?
Yeah, I remember I had like blinds, the strings for the blinds, and I practiced doing this on it.
Oh, okay. So I had never done a cainrow because it's kind of, when I say it backwards, it's like the opposite of a front. You're braiding on top. I don't even know how to describe it. But I had to learn by watching you do it over and over and over again. You do it so neat. And you're like, you just do this. And I would try it and it would be so messy. And I couldn't figure out what the difference was, how you were making it so neat.
And I kept telling him that, like, it's just practice, like with practice. How long do you think it took you to figure out how to do one cainrow?
I don't think it took that long because the first time I did it was still decent.
Yeah.
I had been practicing your hair a little bit, and I remember being a bit frustrated because Amaya's hair is a very different texture and different length, and so, oh my gosh, all the different hair types feel different, and I want to say work differently. You know, if it's more coarse, it holds tight easily. If it's fine, it falls out easily.
Yeah,
and you have to hold it, and it's different.
Yeah, for sure.
But the first time doing her hair, just actually start to finish washing it, conditioning it, brushing it out, combing through, and then styling it and everything afterwards, I would say it was just different. It just requires different care, and it takes practice. And once you get comfortable with that, you know, then the speed picks up.
Right, yeah. So when you did Amaya's hair, the first hair video we posted, that took you a bit of time.
Yeah.
It took a few hours to do.
Like start to finish?
Start to finish, it took a few hours.
I was so nervous though. I wouldn't say nervous, but you know, I'm doing this on camera for the first time, so...
Oh, when the camera is on.
And I was even then fairly new to YouTube, like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, you know, you have to you were trying to get comfortable with Amaya's hair, not only Amaya's hair, but the camera as well. So that took a few hours. And then we thought, you know what, let's try again for 2 braids. So that's when the second video came out where you progressed to 2 braids and
you remember what it was, eh?
Buns. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
For the most part anyway.
What do you want done to your hair?
I want 2 buns and 2 braids.
2 buns and 2 braids.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
No problem.
And that still took you a little bit of time, but it was trying to nail the technique with how
it just
to
comes with
cainrow.
practice. You have to do it to get comfortable with it.
Right, right. And I think it was more of an achievement with the second hair video because I think I stood back a little bit more and I was still behind the camera, but you kind of parted it and you did everything you had to do on your own.
Yeah, so you were there all the time.
Right. So the only time Greg would really get to practice on Amaya's hair is when she took the extensions out and it was wash days. These were the times we were filming these hair videos. Was that little break she had from the extension.
So it's kind of was it like 4 to 6 weeks? 4 weeks? Pretty.
Yeah, it was
5 weeks. I can't remember, but it was. I know it was about kind of a monthly, almost month and a half kind of.
Right.
Thing. Yeah.
So after the second hair video, we're like, you know what? Let's just buy a mannequin head so you could continue to practice. And once you nail that technique down, it'll be different on various hair types. But once you have the technique, you have the technique, right? So then we decided to do a third video.
Right.
You did the crossover with the bangs, and then you had her hair up in a bun.
The crossover, that's right.
Yeah, so you're getting a little bit tricky
that was
with the
a little
style.
like stylish. It was actually fairly simple to do as far as hair goes.
Okay.
It looked more challenging. There was more design to it. Like, it was a little stylier. Like,
but it was super simple. It was just like learning how to part the cross and where to bring the braid, and
it worked really well. So happy with that one.
And then you're putting golden hair clamps.
Oh, was the clamps on this one, or was it both?
Yeah, it was clamps on this one because she only had like the bangs and then the gold clamps, and then her hair was up. So that was the style. So it was very quick and easy bun with some gold clamps just to nail doing that crossover, and you picked it up pretty quickly. So by this point, you were progressing, like you were good.
I was getting more comfortable. You could see that in each video that maybe you couldn't because it was the editing also, right? So you wouldn't see how long it took, but it was gradually taking less time.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, a little bit.
A little bit, because what happened is I would do the washing, combing out, the conditioning, and then blow drying Amaya's hair so it would be more manageable for you to do.
And that makes a huge difference.
And yeah, that's where we really cut time.
Yeah.
Amaya's hair has already been washed. She did a great job washing her hair by herself. I blow dried and conditioned Amaya's hair. Just kind of made it easier for Greg to just jump in and cainrow her hair.
But where speed comes into play, that still takes practice, right? You were still kind of working on that.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think it's the balance between, what's the word? I'm being delicate with her hair. I'm being...
Yeah. Just soft, gentle.
Yeah, I'm trying not to hurt her.
Right.
And, okay, I know kids do not like getting their hair done. There's going to be tangles. There's going to be pulls. They're going to cry. They're going to make a fuss. It happens. Every kid I have ever seen going through that, you yourself and every friend I've had or girl I've known in the past will have their stories, like black girls, about having their hair done when they were a kid, and
it's never a good story.
Yeah,
it hurts.
Right. So here I am trying to be a little softer so that I'm not making Amaya cry. And at the same time, if I picked up the pace and was a little tougher, she might cry a little bit, but we could get it done a lot faster. So I don't know if I'm being too soft, because she handled it pretty good. Like she would say that, like, Greg, it doesn't hurt when Greg does my hair.
No, and I think one of your concerns was, oh, my fingers are too big, or, you know, I can't move fast, like I have chunky fingers. I said it has nothing to do with the size of your fingers.
That was one of my things right in the beginning. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do this. I have thick fingers. Your fingers are so dainty in comparison. That's how you do it so easy. That was my sort of excuse. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it. But it's not that at all. It's so guys or ladies, don't let your guys use that as an excuse.
Greg's gonna
I'm a weightlifter.
These men in trouble. Stop it. It's not for every guy to learn to braid.
No, but if the want is there, they can absolutely learn to do it.
For sure.
That's all it is.
For sure.
So yeah.
So you achieved that. You were able to do the crossover braids in Amaya's hair. And I think you did a fabulous job. And then hair 4 came, where we added more braids to her hair. So what we did is we did 2 braids down here and then 2 at the sides, and then we put buns. So we incorporated more braids plus a style. So every time we did her hair, it was a new challenge for you.
Yeah.
But you were able to do it because you took direction well. What you guys didn't see because of the editing is sometimes I would have to stop the camera and he'd be like, oh, how do I do this again? And then I would go show him, okay, make sure you're braiding this way, because wherever you part is kind of where you want to, you know, have the braid follow that line.
Making sure I'm like pulling tight.
Pulling
see, oh, look,
tight.
you let loose a little here, and you can see that. And
Yes.
so, yeah, so I was learning as we were doing it also.
Right, and we just thought we'd vlog the journey, because not only to share with you guys, but for our kids to look back in the years to come to say, oh my goodness, my dad did my hair. And to them it's so normal because Greg does it all the time. Like, oh, my dad does my hair. My dad did my hair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do their hair majority of the time, but Greg can do it. So to them it's super normal. Whereas if my dad tried when I was a little girl, like, this is so weird. He never does my hair. My mom does it. My dad doesn't know how to do my hair.
So currently, like, I'm always a part of the hair care process.
Always.
Like from when they were little even, especially with Jasmine and Dane King. Because theirs is done more regularly, where Amaya's is only done like monthly.
Right.
We said 4 to 6 weeks, because she keeps the extensions in. It's just easier to manage that way. But Dane King and Jasmine, theirs is done weekly. So I'm washing, drying, shampooing, whatever.
Yeah, you always had your hands in their hair from the get-go, which is amazing. We're so blessed to have you because you're so active in their care, like all aspects of their care. And you don't see that every day. And we wanted to share that with you guys. We didn't put it on for show. It's something that we actually do in this household, and to inspire other people that actually want to learn. Because if you can do it,
right.
So can others.
We just did Bad Mom.
Right.
And we talked about the hair care in that video, so that's why I'm mentioning that. It's a Sunday night routine where I'll wash their hair, you'll start doing Danny's hair, I'll blow dry Jasmine's hair and braid hers, just a single braid, while you do the fine braids and Danny's hair. And that's sort of our Sunday night routine. So yeah, the kids know me and you doing their hair all the time.
Yeah, for sure. And even in that video, you helped me with Jasmine's hair because we're in a rush.
I was just...
And regardless, right? Like, some people may have found that complicated, where you're so used to doing their hair, your hands are in their hair so often that to do a style like that may have been easy for you and not easy for someone else, right?
When she was jumping on the trampoline, the air pillows or whatever we want to call them at the Downey's farm.
Right.
That's in the video too. The clip hair tie came out, her braid came undone, and I bouncing on the trampoline, redoing her braid and put the tie back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. So you got to a point where you could just freehand it now because you know how it feels, you know what to do, so if a braid comes out, you can do it. And that brings us to the 5th hair video with Amaya, where we said, you know what, we're going to do a full head of hair, which took the longest, of course, but
Did it take the longest?
It took the longest because we did that Christmas Eve.
Did we really?
Yeah, we did that Christmas Eve.
You have a better memory. But I know it took long, but I felt like it wasn't as long as it definitely would have been if I had done it sooner.
Right, because we took it in stages, and let you progress.
I don't know how many actual braids there were, but I did her whole head.
Yeah.
And it looked great.
It did. It's funny because that video was playing on our TV today, and I was looking at her hair, I'm like, wow, you did a great job. So this time you incorporated beads. So you had the...
Right, this is when the beads came in.
Yeah, so you had gold clips as well as beads.
Okay, so this is our bead application tool. The fixed version of it. It's actually really easy to use compared to trying to put the beads on individually. So just put the beads onto the end, the hair through the middle of the tool. And just slide the bead on. Greasy fingers does not make this easy. So basically, you can see I have the elastic underneath and I slide the beads down on top of it. You can see that last little bit of hair just sort of holding it on there. Each time I do her hair, I learn something new. So this is my first time putting beads in her hair. And I watched a little tutorial on YouTube. Chantelle showed me how the bead threader tool works, and like you pick it up quick.
We were learning how to, you know, put in the beads, thread the beads, put it in the hair, and do a style with it as well. So she had it in pigtails, she had braids coming down the side of her head, and gold clamps. And I think you did a phenomenal job. Like at that point, I'm like, okay, you get your hair certificate.
So basically at that point, the only hairstyles I had done were in Amaya's hair.
Right.
Well, I guess I had done the general braid in Jasmine's at that point also, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Braiding her hair down the back, and that's it. I had practiced little runs in your hair, but I had never done your hair.
You've never done my hair, but once Jasmine saw the beads in Amaya's hair,
right,
Jasmine wanted her hair done, so that led to Jasmine's turn, where you did her hair.
It wasn't even going to be a vlog. That was just, I want beads, I want beads. I'm like, oh my gosh. You know what? Okay, I'm just going to be the nice dad and take a minute. And I put, like, was it cornrow into a braid?
Oh, I think you just like did 2 bangs coming down.
Was it bangs?
Yeah, like 2 cainrows at the front of her head coming down, and then you might have put her hair up in buns.
She had the zigzag part with the buns.
Yes, yes. And that was different, making that zigzag part. Like, we're getting really styly here.
It was, again, this is the different textures of hair. So my first time putting a cornrow into like that fine hair. Like her hair is so thin, it's so different to work with compared to Amaya's. It doesn't, you have to hold it really tight and it wants to come undone. Yeah. Her hair lies so close to the scalp, like flat on the scalp, so I can't actually pick it up. Whereas like Amaya's, it goes up, it grows up, so it's easy. It's already sticking up, you just grab it and pull it into the next one. It just tangles more, where hers pull, like they're so completely different. Jasmine's, she just dropped her tablet. I can't pick it up. That's the problem that I'm finding. Again, this is my first time doing it. But it doesn't tangle, like it's so silky. It's more, I have to keep it tight because it wants to just fall apart, right? So that's where your hand has to become really sturdy in hair like Jasmine's. But it worked. But it worked. She was so happy. Yes. Part of the progression. That's right. All right, she's happy.
Let me take a photo of you guys.
I learned something new today because I've never tried that before.
And then after that came me.
You were next?
I was next. So for Valentine's Day, that's where we told our story.
Okay.
So I washed my hair and I'm like, okay, by this time you already know what to do. You're doing 2 big jumbo braids in my hair.
Okay.
But it still took you time because you're not doing it every day.
I had never done that.
Yes.
And I had never been in your hair. Man, all these hairs, all the different textures, all of it works differently. Yeah. And I hadn't done that style before, so just, it seems so simple. Okay, 2 like cornrows, I just gotta pull them down and braid it out. But like you said, if you're not doing it all the time, it's not gonna come as easy. It's gonna take you a minute for those finger memories to remember how to move, especially in my hair, because you've never done my hair like that before. Right. But he did it, and he did it for the first time on camera, and that was, yeah, what you guys got to see. So that was story time about how we met, and we take you through how we met, like the story about how Greg and I met and what life was like back then. And I thought it was really unique that you guys got to see him braid my hair and tell that story. But I think that's where a lot of our new viewers are coming from. Like they'll see that video and they're like, where did Greg learn to braid? Or who taught Greg how to braid? So Chantelle taught me how to braid. That's the easy answer. How did Greg learn to braid? Yeah. Yeah. Gradually over the year. Over the years, yes. And this happened because of lockdown. Yes. We actually had the time. That was the biggest thing. The pandemic gave us time to do these extra things that we wouldn't have had time to do otherwise.
That's right. And that's what started all the whole YouTube thing. Like, we have videos on it, guys. Check it out. Yeah, you're right, babe. That's where it all started, was lockdown. Just brought us that much closer.
Yeah.
So then afterwards, we go down to tell another story, the 9-year anniversary story, where you did my full head again. And it's cainrows, smaller cainrows.
Oh, right. Like, how many do you, 6?
Might have been 6 to 8.
Yeah, you look like a
boxer.
A boxer,
Or
yes,
some
MMA
UFC
fighter. That's right. They look good though.
Yeah, it did.
I'm proud of that. How far I came. We're doing the single little braid in Amaya's hair in the beginning to being able to put braids into your hair, full cornrows.
Cainrow cornrows. We had that discussion. We say cainrow here. Yeah, that took you as long as the video, and that was a pretty long video. But again, you're not always practicing, right? So for you to have that memory on how to braid just takes a little bit for you to get. But the fact of the matter is, he can do it. So when people are like, Greg, can you open up a shop? I think you can, because by that point, you're doing hair all the time. You'll get it done in like 20 minutes. Because sometimes I braid my hair before bed, and he'll ask, how long did that take? I'm like 5-10 minutes. Like, it doesn't take me long at all.
You go way fast. And it's funny because when you were showing me, she's doing it blind. She's like, oh, you just do it like this and just start going back in her hair.
Yeah, because I've been doing it since I was like, honestly, 12.
And I'm like, okay.
So it's the experience that I have.
Slow down. Let me watch your fingers work. And then it's not the same when I'm doing it.
No, but you were getting there. You were definitely getting there. And then that led us to, okay, well, you know what? You've done all the girls in the family's hair. We only have one person left. And that brought us to doing Danny's hair. So for the first video, you didn't cainrow his hair.
Oh
you
my
did
gosh,
the single braids.
I forgot that I did 2 videos with him.
Yeah, and we did the single braids first because that's something you knew how to do.
Yeah.
Not only that, but that's how Danny loves his hair. It's just the single braids where he can leave it down and he can whip his hair.
He loves his braids. Yeah, so that's his daily hairstyle.
Right.
And yes, I know how to braid. I actually learned how to braid on the farm, braiding rope. So we take baler twine, braid it into ropes actually. So I had that base technique already down.
Right, just like how I had the strings from the blind. Like,
yeah.
You know?
So once you have that, it's really simple, just cross, cross, cross. Now with hair, because it's finer, you just have to make sure you're holding it. You learn techniques to use your other fingers to hold it and re-grip it and that sort of a thing. But his hair, it really wasn't bad to work with. And again, it's still a different texture. We use different conditioner, and it's managed a little differently. Yeah, I did pretty good with his too.
You did really good, and that was one of my special videos to see father and son bond, because you don't often see that, and Danny was so cute in that video. Like, I can rewatch that video so many times. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I think you nailed it, because you know, when you're doing a cainrow and coming down into that braid, you have to know how to transition, and sometimes we'll go overhand rather than underhand.
It's so simple to just grab with your...
Yeah.
When you learn that technique to carry it on, it actually goes very fast.
It does. And when we started...
It's so funny.
Yeah, and when you started learning how to braid, we were trying to watch videos. I was trying to show him, okay, watch this person, watch, just get you to see how other people do hair. And everybody does it a different way.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Man, I see ladies that grow like a pinky nail and they can pick up the hair so easy with their pinky nail. I'm like, look at that. It's such a simple technique. Others will use the tail comb, pick it up. I'm like, man, that just looks like so much work. And if I try that, it is. I don't have that technique down yet.
Right.
Anyway, I learned it with my own fingers. My thick fingers. It still works.
Yes. I think you did great. And then that leads us to our last hair video where you actually did some cainrows on Danny.
That looked good too. I was happy with that. Now I had already done the cainrows in everybody's hair. I hadn't done it in his yet.
No.
And I wasn't sure how he would sit for it. He gets a little fussy sometimes, but it actually turned out well.
Yeah, once he has his iPad and he's occupied, he's good. He'll sit.
And I like that. Just as his dad, I don't like that his hair is down all the time. He gets it into like food and things. I think he just likes the way it feels when he swings his head.
Yes.
Because he likes to have it down. So I like to put the braids back, put it into a bun. So I really like the cornrows because it just pulled it all back into his face. We've never cut any of the kids' hair. They all have beautiful hair, and we're doing everything we can to maintain it properly.
Right.
So yeah, I'd like to see Danny be able to decide what he wants to do with his hair. Because he's got beautiful hair.
He does have beautiful hair, so we don't have any intention of cutting it right now. Same with Jasmine's. Jasmine is super long. I mean, she's probably due for a trim, and we'll get to that point eventually, but right now we're pretty satisfied with all the kids' hair. We'll just let them be them, uniquely them.
Yeah. They're all very happy. If they decide they want to cut it seriously, then
yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah, guys, so I hope that answered your questions with who taught Greg how to do hair, or where did he learn to do hair.
Yeah.
I think it was a partnership thing, and I think it's something that we both wanted to do.
Yeah, just shared responsibility. It makes life a lot easier when both parents can do it, and we're not relying on one to do all those kind of tasks.
It helps a lot, a lot. Thank you so much, babe.
Oh, thanks for teaching me. I think it's all that the kids know, so they appreciate that both parents do their hair. And I know Amaya was proud going to school saying, oh, Gregory did my hair. Right. Or church. Remember Grandma, like, who did your hair? Oh, Gregory did it. Gregory did that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
And I'm happy that you're proud of your work, because I think it's such a huge accomplishment, and not every man can do that. So
thank you.
You did a wonderful job. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed that video and it answered your questions. If you have any more questions, please go ahead and drop a comment down below. We'll be sure to answer any questions you guys have. But before we leave out today, guys, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we don't want you to miss a thing. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!